on road crew as an intervention to reduce the demand for driving under the influence of alcohol in the state of Wisconsin by creating demand for alternative ride service. For us, social marketing is a voluntary offer that makes the desired behavior attractive, and we do that by enhancing benefits to the desired behavior and reducing their barriers or costs. And we do that by tangibilizing the desired behavior in the form of tangible product and intangible service. And of course, to do that, we have to be extremely oriented to the audience, and you cannot be oriented to the audience unless you conduct research at every step of the planning process. What social marketing is not, we are not a company that produces brochures and posters. So if you are in the business of deciding what color should be my brochure, please stop thinking along those lines. The first meeting should not be about what color should be my parachute brochure. It should be about who's my audience, how do we tackle their needs and desires. And yes, this new baby called social media has hijacked our terms, so again, that is not social marketing. This case study was undertaken primarily by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, who approached my mentor, Professor Michael Rothschild, who was a professor then at the School of Business in Wisconsin-Madison. But we also worked with several micro-social entrepreneurs and community partners, as well as a corporate partner. The campaign took place in late 90s and early 2000. So what we did was we tried to tackle the social issue of traffic safety by decreasing driving under the influence of alcohol. Many other attempts had been done. Offering alternative rides was one of the least attempted effort until then, and so that became our focus. Unfortunately, we had monetary and management resources. The issue was important. However, there were some organizations like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, who thought we are in the business of promoting alcohol. This was important to know, but we had decided that our campaign was about reducing demand for driving after drinking, not drinking. Focus is important. That allowed us to partner with Miller Incorporated, which became our corporate partner because they don't mind keeping their patrons alive. And so they were more than happy to sponsor, and they actually went pro bono with their ad agency. They let us use their ad agency free of cost. And you know that an ad agency is going to create a much more creative effort than a square-faced professor and his PhD student. And so it helped to know through the SWOT analysis who would be our potential opponents. It also enlightened us because we measured through self-report data before and after the self-reported drinking levels of our young men, 21 to 34-year-old. So we could have segmented the audience in many ways, but we went after those who were most likely to respond to our marketing effort, and that's important to know. So they were most ready for action, and they were appropriate for marketing segments. So using those two criteria, we went after this audience. In terms of objectives and goals, we decided that we'll go going after single doable behavior. Important to keep that in mind. Do not try to tackle all the world's social problems in one campaign with $500 in your kitty and 6 months down the road, right? Nothing gets done when you are all over the place. We were in the business of promoting alternative rides. That became the behavioral objective. We wanted our consumers to know about this service and believe that it is beneficial to them. Keep in mind, our goal was 5% only, not 50% or 60%, which becomes the goal of many campaigns. A realistic goal always should be 5% in a year's intervention. But to achieve the 5% behavioral goal, you actually need to influence 80% of the target audience to be aware of the campaign, and 50% should actually like what you are saying. Only then will you expect 5%. Step 5 is understanding the target market and the competition, which is the current behavior and the individuals and organizations that influence that current behavior. So for us, the current behavior was driving under the influence of alcohol, not drinking, okay? And the influence of that driving was peers, not alcohol companies. So alcohol companies was not our competition, it was our partner. So we conducted formative research with people who work with young men and also young men themselves. For the people who work with young men, we asked them, why do these guys drink? Why do they drive after drinking? Why do they not take the alternative rides and taxis? Okay? And then we went back to the drawing table, brainstormed ideas of what could be that alternative ride service. Then we went to these young men and asked them various ways in which it could be made attractive. So we did some pre-testing. And we also asked them, will you drink more? And they, of course, they said, we don't need to drink more. So this is pretty typical. What you find is before the campaign, there are lots of benefits to the current behavior, reasons why they do what they do, and lots of barriers to desired behavior, reasons why they don't do what we want them to do. Okay, pretty normal. I would like you to understand as a social marketer, please focus on the benefits to current behavior, not just barriers on desired behavior. It's very important because at the end of the day, this is key. You want to give them the same benefits as they're getting today as far as possible through desired behavior that they're getting from current behavior. At the end of the day, the benefits from desired behavior has to exceed benefits from current behavior, or at least match. And the benefits from desired behavior has to exceed the barriers from desired behavior. After the campaign, I'm kind of jumping ahead. You realize that some of the barriers went down and the benefits to desired behavior went up. And we believe, based on our campaign success, that the benefits from desired behavior did exceed the benefits from current behavior. And this benefit orientation is key in social marketing. So don't just focus on fear appeal, go for positive benefit-oriented approaches. So at the end of the day, our positioning statement was we want them to perceive the alternative rights as more fun than the current behavior, right? And our tagline became party continues even after you leave the bar. Okay, not how many bodies were smashed, how many cars were in bad shape. We didn't use fear appeal. Okay, young men don't normally respond to fear appeals. So the exchange that we wanted to provide was to tangibilize the desired behavior, which was perceived as fun, easy, and popular. Three important ones to keep in mind. We all do things in life which are perceived as fun, easy, and popular. We don't do avoidance approach. Okay, I eat junk food not because for not avoidance approaches. We do it for taste, cost, and convenience. We do lots of our behaviors for the same reason. And the benefits that we unknowingly pursue are those which are guaranteed, attractive, and immediate. When Pepsi tells you, me, the aging guy, that I'll feel young if I drink Pepsi, I don't wait for 40 years to feel young. I want that youth feeling right now. And I want it guaranteed. Unlike the healthy diet campaigns that say if you don't eat junk food, there's a 40% chance you will not die of heart attack 40 years down the road. That doesn't work, right? So it's important that we follow the positive approach. Should we use fear? Yes, it's useful, but it has to be combined with benefits to desired behavior. So for our campaign, the alternative rides from home to bar, bar to bar to bar to home, for $5 per ride or $10 for unlimited rides, which was acceptable to the young men. And we started the service at 4:30 in the evening, not late night at 10:30, because we wanted them to leave their car at home or in their offices. This is a moment of truth kind of learning that we all have to understand the consumer's life and provide services accordingly. Most alternative ride services start at 10 in the night, too late. The car is already in the bar. Nobody wants to leave their car in the bar because nobody wants to see the face of the bar next day morning. In terms of promotion, the creative was party continues even after you leave the bar, because they got alternative ride service. They were allowed to drink when they took the alternative ride service, because that's what they do when they drive. And they were allowed to smoke when they took the alternative ride service. One of the communities purchased used limousines from Las Vegas, and that became the alternative ride system. So just imagine a blue-collar worker for $5 getting a ride in a limousine service in a small town. It's a pretty attractive offer compared to their dingy old cars being driven by a drunk guy, right? We got lots of publicity, mostly unpaid, because when you have something interesting and attractive, people will cover your story. So here's the campaign. Here's an ad, right? Look, guess who's not worried about driving tonight? Dave doesn't have to drive tonight. That makes him happy, because when the road crew is driving and Dave is not, he can relax and simply enjoy a nice time with his friends. For more info on the totally brand newest way to get around safely, just call the community number. And remember, safety first. So don't jump around in the bar. Thank you. We did pre and post evaluation, compared treatment and control conditions, reasonable sample size, self-report data on the phone. What showed was, in those 3 small communities of 5,000 people in the state of Wisconsin, this is where the campaign took place, 20,000 rides were given, of which half of them were taken by our target audience. After 7-8 years, around 85,000 rides had been given. But within that 1-year intervention, which was financed by DOT, we have estimated to have prevented 15 alcohol-related crashes. Okay? There was no reported drinking incidents. In fact, if you see the treatment condition, it went from 4.98 drinks to 4.83 after a year. We spent around $250,000 funded by DOT. We estimated to have saved around $500,000 for the state. So that's the SROI. The social return of investment was $500,000. Okay. We mostly got money from DOT, as I said, but some donated time from Miller, 1 week of communication agency time. And then, of course, community partners came in and helped us run the service. So the alternative rights service was managed by the community partners, not by the government. Government was nowhere in the campaign, although they were openly talking about that they are supporting it. So it was a 1-year campaign. That's the last phase. We did evaluation analysis, and after that 15-18 months, community took it over because they believed this was a sustainable effort. The individuals who ran the alternative rights service actually were earning profit from the service. So what did we learn from this case? It pays to be audience oriented. To understand the audience, you have to conduct research with them. You need to combine heart and head. We need to be social marketing centric, which means we need to be focused on what you are promoting. It has to be benefit oriented. It has to ensure immediate exchange. I pay the amount right now and I get back something immediately. You have to systematically employ a planning process. Don't jump to deciding what should be my ad campaign. Okay? There's many times you realize, like we realized, we did not need ad campaign at all. Because men said, we will tell each other about this service. So most of it was word of mouth publicity. And yes, community partners were heavily involved and they made this campaign financially sustainable. So please use business principles to change downstream and upstream individual behaviors. If you don't like to just use social marketing because you love your brochures, then combine your education and social marketing effort together. Okay? So that you make an offer to the audience that they cannot, they cannot, not they can. That's a mistake. They cannot resist. And yes, combine benefit with fear, not just fear. So let me end by saying, all I'm saying is give marketing a chance. Thank you.